cut his own grass. Why you out there cutting your own grass? You're trying to save money? You don't want to pay for the lawn to get cut, huh?
And I'm not speaking down on him because he live in a 2-bedroom apartment, but
He lives in a 2-bedroom apartment?
2-bedroom. Catch the alley-hoop now. You gotta win by Yama, this bitch.
2-bedroom apartment.
Yes, he does. And if he does, what does that say about him? Come on now. Just the alley-hoop.
Is there anything about Ross and his career that you have any respect for?
Oh, no, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. I never wanted to work with him. I understand from a perspective of someone who's just listening to what it sounds like.
I mean, he's a great rapper.
But does it matter that he's a correctional officer? Does that ever matter? Look at the irony of the artists that come under him.
I met his younger son. I took his younger son fishing before.
This is when you guys were good?
I call him Bruce Leroy. That's him right there, the little Chinese looking one. Yeah.
Did you say the little Chinese looking?
Yeah, he looked like Bruce Lee. Like,
When's because in the lawsuit, he tried to sue you twice. I've never seen somebody try to sue somebody twice. That at the end, is it true that at the end of the lawsuit, he had to pay?
The tension started building almost immediately once Rick Ross sat down with Patrick Bet-David, and it did not take long for the atmosphere to shift. What appeared to be a straightforward interview quickly turned into a back-and-forth exchange, where Ross seemed visibly more frustrated each time certain names entered the conversation. What made it interesting was that Patrick kept deliberately circling back to those exact topics, and every time he did, Ross responded with another comment that was bound to generate headlines. Rather than steering the conversation away from old conflicts, the discussion kept gravitating towards some of the most significant names tied to Ross throughout his career. But one name in particular changed the entire energy in the room the moment it came up: 50 Cent.
From day one?
no.
This is a big business you guys are a part of. You guys are two of the heavyweights in the business.
I mean, what is there to talk about?
A lot of things to talk about. History, the beef.
What kind of history? That he couldn't dress? That's all I used to tell him. Yo, you can't dress. You're not really getting no money. You don't own your masters. Eminem saved you. Dr. Dre saved you. All the big names. Rose did it himself. I came in through slip and slide. I had to build this myself. And I'm not speaking down on him because he live in a 2-bedroom apartment, but
He lives in a 2-bedroom apartment?
2-bedroom. Catch the alley-hoop now. You gotta win by Yama, this bitch.
2-bedroom apartment.
Yes, he does. And if he does, what does that say about him? Come on now. Just the alley-hoop. Come on now. What does it say about him?
You're saying 50 lives in a 2. He just did a big documentary on Diddy that blew up. It was a #1 documentary for like weeks.
They just use him. They'll put his name on there, give him 10K, and that's it. He don't own any.
The moment that subject came up, it was clear Ross had no interest in giving a short or simple answer. Rather than brushing past it, he launched into a series of direct comments aimed squarely at his longtime rival. According to Ross, 50 Cent's lifestyle is nowhere near as impressive as most people assume. He suggested that the image 50 Cent projects online does not line up with reality, and even made specific remarks about the kind of home 50 Cent supposedly lives in. Whether viewers agreed with him or not, it was exactly the type of statement guaranteed to keep people talking long after the interview ended. One thing that made this particular interview stand out was Patrick Bet-David's approach throughout. While he's not someone typically known for covering hip-hop news on a regular basis, he was not simply sitting back and letting every claim go unchallenged. Whenever Ross made a bold statement, Patrick or someone on his team appeared ready to counter with articles, published reports, or additional context that pushed back on parts of the narrative. That dynamic led to one of the more compelling moments of the entire conversation. While Ross was in the middle of questioning 50 Cent's financial standing, Patrick brought up a published article referencing child support payments.
Before.
This is when you guys were good?
I call him Bruce Leroy. That's him right there, the little Chinese looking one. Yeah.
Did you say the little Chinese looking?
Yeah, he looked like Bruce Lee, like
Bruce
Chinese.
Leroy.
That's what I call him.
And you took him fishing?
Yeah.
And 50 knew you're taking him fishing?
I don't know. He may have told his dad, like, yo, Rose, you know what I'm saying?
Were you guys ever good, the two of you?
Who, his son?
No, you and 50.
No, the son mom used to be on Star Island, and so little man done been there.
I got it. Okay, now I know. I read that story.
And when the mom be in the house doing whatever she doing, the little man done out. You know,
I got it.
Offers to buy 50.
So this is great. I mean,
See?
it sounds
I
like
offered to buy the son a puppy just because I knew Bruce Lee.
The article was introduced into the discussion, but Ross immediately pushed past it and pressed forward with his own version of events, rather than engaging directly with what the report actually said. From there, the conversation moved into considerably more personal territory. Ross began telling a story involving 50 Cent's younger son, describing a situation from years ago when he was around people connected to that circle. According to Ross, he spent time taking the child fishing during a period when various celebrities and industry figures were regularly in each other's orbit. Those details quickly became the most controversial part of the entire interview. Ross even attached his own nickname to the child while telling the story, and many viewers felt that dragging a young family member into a long-running public feud was a clear overstep. Even among people who genuinely enjoy watching rivals trade shots back and forth, a significant number felt that family, especially children, should never be pulled into these kinds of
Nothing we been big on in lawsuits, shit like that. 50 Cent sued me before. We beat his ass, kicked him to sleep in court, sent him back home. He was poor. When we pulled up his banking accounts, I felt bad for him. I really did. But, you like that? Go ahead and laugh. Look at the camera. Let the camera see it. Hey, let the camera. 50, they laughing at you. Make sure y'all Google that to see what that shit went like. I kicked dog to sleep. But I made my lawyer pull up his finance. It was bad.
Oh, really?
Nah.
How bad?
It was bad. They made sure I wouldn't say nothing about it. I can't say no dollar figure, but it was Now nigga was in an apartment, 2-bedroom. I felt bad for dog. I was like, damn. I know niggas that bought a 2-bedroom just for their puppies and shit.
Guess not.
Gotta hustle hard. Gotta hustle every day.
As Ross continued telling the story, he connected it to the relationships and friendships that existed during that period, including his association with Diddy during those years. The story painted a vivid picture of just how tightly connected many of these industry circles were behind the scenes, even while very public rivalries were dominating the headlines at the same time. What made the exchange so compelling was not just the comments themselves. It was watching Patrick Bet-David repeatedly steer the conversation back to subjects Ross clearly had deep feelings about. Every time one of those names resurfaced, the interview became more intense, more unpredictable, and significantly harder to look away from. And if you thought the 50 Cent portion made things uncomfortable, the next topic took the interview to an entirely different level. This appeared to be the one subject Rick Ross wanted to avoid more than anything else. The moment Patrick Bet-David brought it up, the energy in the room shifted instantly. Ross looked irritated, attempted to redirect the conversation, and made it obvious he had no desire to revisit that particular chapter of his past. But Patrick kept pressing, and that is when things truly escalated. Rather than simply answering the question and moving on, Ross used the moment to fire back with a series of claims and criticisms of his own. Before getting into that part of the conversation, though, it is worth understanding why this topic has continued to follow him for so many years. The discussion centered around Freeway Rick Ross, a well-known figure from California whose name has been attached to countless stories, interviews, and documentaries over the decades. For years, people have drawn consistent comparisons between Freeway Rick Ross and the persona.
My life that I kept bringing people on because I wanted to find out who killed Tupac. So I brought on Freeway Rick Ross. I don't know what it was, probably 10 years ago. I did podcasts 2 times with him. And he came on and we spoke, and your name came up. And the lawsuit, he tried to sue you twice. I've never seen somebody try to sue somebody twice. That at the end, is it true that at the end of the lawsuit, he had to pay for your legal fees?
Because of those similarities, the debate has never fully gone away. The question of where inspiration ends and imitation begins has followed both men for years. According to the long-running story, Freeway Rick Ross believed that key elements of his life and reputation were being reflected in the rapper's carefully crafted persona without any proper acknowledgement or credit being given. That disagreement eventually escalated into a legal battle that drew significant attention at the time. The lawsuit became one of the most discussed aspects of the entire feud. Freeway Rick Ross attempted to legally challenge the use of the name and what he viewed as deliberate similarities tied to his life story. However, the case did not go in his favor. Reports from that period indicated that rapper Rick Ross prevailed in court, bringing that particular legal conflict to a close. Even though years have passed since the lawsuit was settled, the topic continues to resurface whenever both names appear in the same conversation. That is exactly why viewers immediately took notice of Rick Ross's reaction the moment Patrick Bet-David brought it up. Out of every subject covered during the interview, this one appeared to generate the most visceral response. For a long time, fans have observed that Ross rarely engages with the Freeway Rick Ross topic in any meaningful depth during public appearances. Typically, when the subject comes up, it gets brushed aside and the conversation moves on quickly. This interview was different. Instead of shutting it down and moving past it, Ross chose to push back aggressively and put his own perspective on the record. As the exchange continued, Ross began making a series of allegations and pointed criticisms directed at Freeway Rick Ross. It is important to note that these were personal claims made by Ross during the course of the interview and should be understood as his own statements rather than verified or established facts. Even so, the comments immediately grabbed widespread attention because they were far more direct and unfiltered than anything he had previously said on the subject. And the longer the discussion went on, the clearer it became why Ross had wanted to avoid this topic in the first place.
Wasted a lot of people's time. I hope he's coping with the crack addiction that he's been dealing with this whole time, and I hope your listeners, I hope you didn't disappoint your listeners listening to that shit. I just hope, man, you gotta maintain a certain level of quality, and you've allowed it to dip
to
a few times.
Putting him on.
I mean, you should go look at your ratings. Pull up the ratings.
Rob, type in YouTube Rick Ross Bet-David. Let's see how he performed. I don't know actually how he performed, but let's look it up.
Let's look it up.
Type in Bet-David and Rick Ross. Watch the cult guy come up first. 1.6 million.
The cult guy, you get...
No, but right there, that's Freeway Rick Ross was what, 6 years ago?
What started as a straightforward question rapidly turned into one of the heated segments of the entire interview. Patrick Bet-David was not backing away from the subject, and Ross was not holding back his opinions either. By that point, the conversation had shifted from a standard sit-down interview into something far more charged and unpredictable. Every question seemed to peel back another layer of old tension, and viewers found themselves watching decades worth of history, unresolved disputes, and lingering resentment spill back into the spotlight all at once. And as controversial as the exchange had already become, Ross was just getting warmed up with the accusations he wanted to put on the table. As the conversation kept moving forward, Ross showed no interest in letting the subject go. Instead, he circled back to claims he had already made earlier in the interview and doubled down on them with even more conviction. Rather than allowing the discussion to shift in a new direction, he continued directing criticism at Freeway Rick Ross and revisited allegations that have been part of their long-running dispute for years. What made the moment even more notable was that Ross appeared determined to dismiss Freeway Rick Ross's relevance entirely. At one point, he essentially suggested that putting him on a major platform was not worth the attention in the first place. The message could not have been clearer. In Ross's view, Patrick Bet-David was giving far too much spotlight to someone he felt did not deserve it. But then, the conversation took a turn that was not exactly working in Ross's favor. Patrick Bet-David and his team brought up the performance numbers from a previous interview featuring Freeway Rick Ross on their platform. The figures were difficult to argue against. That interview had drawn a massive audience and generated enormous viewer interest from people who wanted to hear his side of the story firsthand. Regardless of where anyone stood on the dispute itself, the engagement numbers made it clear that public curiosity surrounding this decades-old controversy had never really faded.
My last alley-oop, and I'm trying to see what you're going to do with this
It's
one.
not an alley-hoop. This is...
If you don't respect everyone, then you're disrespecting yourself.
This is
Like this man.
informant / crackhead.
Was he the reason why you named yourself what you named yourself, or not at all?
Not
Was there
at all.
any influence there?
He's a crackhead. What are you talking about? Pull up crack. Pull up smoking crack. Freeway smoking crack. This is what you should be talking about on your...
Him smoking crack.
You let me down. You're
Tell me
disappointing me because... Where's the crack? Pull it up. I don't see it. Pull up the headlines.
You're saying now we're back in the days. Because we know back in the days he had issues.
We don't know nothing. I'm asking to pull it up.
Yeah.
Where's the facts?
A significant portion of those reactions appeared to be supportive of Freeway Rick Ross and critical of the rapper. As that reality unfolded on screen, Ross seemed to grow increasingly frustrated with the direction the conversation was heading. Rather than stepping back, he pushed even harder. He argued that continuing to focus on Freeway Rick Ross was bringing down the quality of the discussion and pulling attention away from far more important topics. But the more he resisted engaging with the subject, the more central it became to the interview. In a somewhat ironic way, every effort to shut the topic down only amplified it and kept it alive longer than it might have otherwise lasted. Ross then returned once again to his criticisms and allegations directed at Freeway Rick Ross. It bears repeating that these were personal claims made by Ross during the course of the interview and should not be taken as verified or established facts. Even so, the sheer number of times he returned to the same accusations made it evident just how deeply he felt about the issue and how much it still clearly bothers him. At another point, the conversation drifted into territory surrounding old legal documents and claims that have been circulating in various corners of the internet for years. Numerous figures within the hip-hop world have weighed in on those records publicly, often arriving at completely different conclusions about what actually happened and what it all means. As is the case with many stories from that era, the version